डिटेंशन सेंटर के पय सरासर झूठ हैं, बद इरादे वाली है, देश को तबाह करने के नापाक इरादों से भरी पड़ी है। ये झूठ है, झूठ है, झूठ है।
Turns out that India has detention camps. Actually, there are 10 of them, out of which 6 are placed in the state of Assam, and the 7th one will be the largest in the country, being built right here near Golpada. This kid just spent the first 10 years of her life inside a detention center. Sahanara was only 15 days old when she was detained along with her mother. A 2018 report by the National Human Rights Commission of India stated, and I quote, "In its visit to the 2 detention camps, the mission found a situation of grave and extensive human distress and suffering. In the women's camp in particular, the women wailed continuously as though in mourning. Ex-detainees claim that there used to be at least 50 to 60 people living inside a room at a time. Sometimes this number would go all the way up to 300. They are treated like jail criminals but are not given the benefits that even criminals receive, like the right to earn a living, parole, or even recreational time. Families are separated. Even infants are not spared. They live inside these glorified jails with no signs of being released." So how does one end up in a hellhole like this? In Assam, a person's citizenship can be challenged by 3 bodies: the Border Police Force, the Election Commission of India, and the National Register of Citizens. The Border Police Force may challenge the citizenship of a person purely on the basis of suspicion. There are no official guidelines or modus operandi that they are expected to follow. Recently, they identified a retired army man as an illegal immigrant. The irony is that Honorary Lieutenant Mohammad Sanawal Khan was not just a Kargil war veteran, he was also working as a sub-inspector with the same Border Police Force that arrested him. After the Border Police Force comes the Election Commission of India. During the 1997 revision of the electoral rolls in Assam, the Election Commission of India made a list of people they suspected to be illegal immigrants and marked them as doubtful voters or D voters. Around 230,000 names were added to this list. Sahida Bibi had just given birth to her twins when she was detained. After a month inside the unhygienic camp, one of her infants passed away. Just 10 months later, Sahida Bibi's citizenship was proven and she was released. This boy's twin brother was an Indian, but he died as a foreigner. Last but the most flawed of them all, the National Register of Citizens. Its purpose is to document all the legal citizens of India so that the illegal migrants can be identified and deported. 4 million individuals were identified as illegal immigrants in the 2018 NRC draft. However, by the final draft in 2019, this number came down to just over 1.9 million. That there is an error margin of almost 50%. The NRC list was riddled with absolutely ridiculous complications. 2 sisters submitted the same documents, but only one made it into the final list. 3 army brothers submitted the same documents, but 2 of them did not make it to the final list. Clearly, these 3 bodies work in a very strange manner, and once a person is suspected to be an illegal immigrant by them, they must then prove their nationality to an executive quasi-judicial body called the Foreigners' Tribunal. And this is where things get complicated. Today there are 100 tribunals in Assam, and each of them comprises lawyers and civil servants with judicial experience. It is their responsibility to determine the citizenship of a person. This is a very crucial role because if a person is declared a foreigner by the tribunal, they may not be able to approach a higher court to seek redisposition in normal circumstances. But you see, members of foreigners' tribunals are hired on 2-year contracts that will be extended based on their performance. And according to the performance appraisal submitted by the government of Assam to the Guwahati High Court, tribunals that mark less than 10% of the people as foreigners were deemed unsatisfactory and thus stood a chance of losing their contracts. Now just allow me to simplify that. It basically means that a tribunal member could lose their job if they don't send enough people into these detention centers. Because of this pressure from the central and state government, people are marked as foreigners for very arbitrary reasons, like spelling mistakes and mismatched birth dates. In some cases, these judgments are passed without the presence of the accused. There are even records of anti-Muslim sentiments within these tribunals. In an official letter, a tribunal member refers to Muslims as jihadis and jahils. This blatant bias, paired with the very discriminatory Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, has led to the creation of a vicious filter that is designed to hurt the Muslim minorities of this country. Sarbananda Sonowal and Saida went through hell and back for no fault of theirs. And when this whole exercise goes national, millions could end up behind these camps like them. This whole process is made out to be a lot more complicated than what it actually is, just so that people like you and me remain confused about it until it's too late to speak up. Do not let them do that to you. Read up and raise your voice while you still can.